And you're going to warn me before we go on so I don't start the podcast with, oh, we're on again?
I can guarantee nothing.
I'm starting to think that's going to be my catchphrase.
And yeah, I'm just going to the profile now to see when we're gonna.
It says we're live.
Well, it says we're live here, but does it say we're live on Facebook?
It does. Oh, we're on? Is that, am I doing that?
I don't see it.
It's all right. You're going to edit it, right?
But hell yeah, I'm gonna edit to make it look like I know what I'm doing, even though I don't.
Yeah, no, I can literally watch us on Facebook right now. We must be going. So all the people at William said, hey, you might want to tune in if you want to see stuff. Already making it look bad.
Awesome.
Yeah. We won't ruin your reputation too much, man.
No guarantees.
I was going to say I do that myself.
But see, that's the thing is we're all lucky enough to at least have a mild reputation we can ruin. So.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's hard to ruin something that's not there.
Oh no, you could get ruined more, I guarantee you. The more people that know about you, the easier it is to ruin your name.
There's already enough that know about me, man.
I am waiting on you just to.
I still get. Oh, you're that guy.
There we are.
But hi, are we on? Is it okay?
Well, I assumed that you were already seeing it.
I'm giving you hell, man. All right, guys, welcome to another edition of Concast. For those watching at home, of course, not listening to the podcast, you will see on your screens that we are using a little bit different program than we have the last few weeks, and that we got more people on here with us this week. It is we are trying some different things out, in and out, and Ash, jump in with me on any of this you want to correct. But I'm going to. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, that'll work. Matter of fact, we're using a new program, and I can go ahead and let me see here. Let me throw up our intro.
Okay.
And that's only our intro because you've yet to give me something better. I made that one years ago, and you've yet to give me something better.
I know. We used Mikey Mason's Han Solo Cool for so long. I just all it takes is one email to go, hey, Mikey, is it still okay to use some of that? And I haven't done it.
Oh, yeah.
So we are using a new program tonight. I'll start off here to my left is my brother, Tim. A lot of you guys know him as Cookie, who traveled with the Wags for years and did shows. He's going to be jumping in. That way he can jump in with all his many years of weak geek goodness and knowledge.
Weak geeky
goodness.
Oh, man.
Throughout the years, there's going to be times that I'm not here or something, and he's definitely going to try to help out and jump in with stuff. And plus, then that way we can geek out on all the stuff that a lot of our younger viewers have no idea what we're talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Then in the middle, of course, is Ash, and way on our right is William Schlichter. Did I say it right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
The beautiful little wordplay you gave me earlier helped tremendously. William's an author. He's producing a show this month. We're going to be talking about all that here in a minute. But I also want to say on the other side of the camera, we're trying something new out. Ash's boy, Gannon, has been following the podcast. Well, when we did it for 5 years earlier, he said he'd like to get involved, and he is doing a lot of the production work on the other side for us now. He's going to be doing some of the editing, some of the other work. So hopefully in the future.
Hopefully he'll also be going with us to conventions, and he'll be the Sherpa when it comes to hauling around the gear and setting things up and learning how to do the production stuff in the background and getting it, to frame right and getting all the audio quality and stuff. So he's going to learn how to make a good podcast.
See, and then that way all I have to do is look up geeky crap on YouTube, and then I'm good. I don't have to do anything
Exactly.
else. That's all I want. So let's get started here. Before we do geekgasms or anything, William, I know I can't do you a proper introduction. I'm searching through your pictures trying to find a good one to use for the thing, and there are so many pictures. You do more events than I do easily.
I will hit number 100 this year.
Convention number 100?
Book signing. They haven't all been conventions. Some of them have been at bookstores and at some book fairs. But yes, I will hit number 100, my 100th book signing this year. So yeah, I've traveled all over the country to do shows.
Go ahead.
I was just going to ask: is that like 101 year of your centennial book signing in total? How does that 100 count?
I was published in 2016, and I started doing shows. My first show was actually in Kansas. I did Smallville.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and that was my first book signing. And since that one in 2016, I have done 100 events where I have signed books. But like I said,
since 2016.
Yep.
Wow.
Well, that might have been around the time I met you. I want to say it was about 2016, 2017.
Yeah, that's when I started, and I did as many of the Kansas shows as I could, and I still do. I have discovered that people in Kansas like to read. I sell a lot of books here, and I get a lot of love in Kansas, and that makes me very happy. And now, of course, I'm teaching out here. It's like I asked one time. I was like, "You guys buy books?" I said, "You love to read." I said, "Why is that?" And they said, "There's nothing else to do here."
Yes.
I was just about to say that. Who would ever imagine with all the overwhelming amount of things we have to do here?
Yeah.
As I like to put it, we are topographically challenged and centrally located to nothing.
Yeah.
Well, we're centrally located to everything and nothing.
Yeah.
It's like there's nothing in the middle, and everything else is a good 8-hour drive. So.
Yeah. That's the reason, people from Kansas, you'll hear us say, "Oh, that's only 3 hours away. Let's go."
Yeah.
Or consider Coronado Heights a major hike. You know?
So I get a lot of love here. So I've done a lot of between here and my home state of Missouri. I do as many shows as I can, and I've traveled across the country. I write horror and science fiction. I've been an English speech and theater teacher for 20-something years, and I currently teach English and speech at Garden City Community College.
Heck yeah. And now I'm going to jump in with all my illiterate stuff, but so your zombie series is what I know. Because I always see your set. You got a great setup at conventions. So some of you may have seen William, especially local here, where he's got the zombie set up usually with like a bunch of weapons up front, and then a line of books. I don't even know how many you have now.
The 8th book comes out the week of the show. It's a vampire novel, and I'm actually doing an event that Wednesday to release it on campus 2 to 4, and there'll be cookies, so please come.
Now, I have my finger poised over the button that ejects you from this chat. The vampire does not sparkle, does it?
In fact, I have gone back to the more traditional. We follow 2 female vampire hunters as they kind of discover vampires are real and actually figure out how to hunt them. I got tired of vampire stories where, oh, look, I know how to kill vampires, and all of a sudden they're a superhero, and it's like, no, these girls mess up a lot.
Good.
So it's a lot of fun.
Good.
Yeah, I think that's enjoyable because they have a lot of character growth. And like I said, we'll have cookies that day. That's what got me. They said there would be cookies.
You should have started with cookies.
Yeah, I should have. And I'm going to do that. And then I should still have copies available that Saturday at the show. We're also doing it at Garden City. We'll be in the gym in the what we call.
You're talking the Bucky-Con show, right?
Yeah, the Bucky-Con show. Western Kansas doesn't really have anything out there, and I wanted to do a family-friendly event for the community. I'm part of the diversity committee on campus, and I cannot think of an event that shares more diversity than a Comic-Con.
Yeah. Comic-Cons are pretty inclusive. You'll run into Harley-looking dudes like us over here to 12-year-olds.
Harley-looking girls like they just came out of DC.
Yeah, and they're so much fun, and I mean, I've made some I guess so far lifelong friends at a lot of these shows. And they're just so much fun. So we're going to do a 1-day event. We're going to keep it kind of small, 10 to 4 on the campus and at the gym. And what they call the D-Pack. We're going to have the local car clubs going to be outside. There's weather permitting. They're supposed to be there with about 25 cars, and I'm excited for that. They've got some 1920s cars, which another
Ooh,
novel.
nice.
I know one of my novel series is set in 1923, so I'm excited to go see that. Right now I think I've got about 40 vendors, lots of artists and authors. A lot of them are for Kansas. I try to keep it as Kansas. We've got several people you might know. Kevin Hansen, who does Captain Spaulding's going to be there.
That's the Kevin you're talking
yeah,
about.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, not the Kevin Spaulding. This is like,
Yeah.
I should point out, because my brother got excited. So Kevin's a local celebrity here, and
I think you've told me about
yeah,
him.
he's probably, I'd say, the best Captain Spaulding impersonator I've seen. But he's also a talented. He does MC work. He's in a band. He does a lot of stuff, and he's an artist too.
Oh, amazing! Yeah, and he looks so much like Captain Spaulding when he met Sig. I probably shouldn't tell his story.
That's right. I was there, so I could tell the story if you want.
He met Sig. Kevin's in full Captain Spaulding costume, and people were coming up to him to get Sig's to thinking he was, Captain Spaulding, trying to get his autograph while Captain Spaulding is sitting next to him, not in costume. So,
well, and
Kevin's way taller because I've met Sig as well. So.
Right. Sid Haig, and of course he's the guy that played in the movie, and Kevin's done a number of shows with him, but we've been there where we're talking to Sig, and of course before he passed, he got a little older. So when Kevin was there at the table, and this isn't even that first time, people would literally just walk right by Sig and walk to Kevin, like they were sitting next to each other, and, because that's all they know him from the movie, and they go for that.
Oh, they did.
So.
My favorite story, I was doing a show in Chicago, and Kevin was there, and I have this director's chair that's really comfortable. I sit in at the booth so I can be a little higher, and I come back to my table, and it's gone, and all the other vendors were around me were like, some clown stole your chair, and I'm like, a real clown? Yeah, it was a clown, dude. I'm like, okay, I know who has my chair. And they weren't going to tell him no. I mean, they were not going to mess with him. So he's a lot.
When we do the show, remind me. I'll tell you some Kevin stories I probably shouldn't tell on here without him. He's going to be there and be fun, and I think he's going to help out a little bit with the costume contest. So I don't want to, I want to help him with that. We've got lots of Kansas authors, including Jared Vaughn, who writes a kind of a time travel series. I've read the first book in the series, and it's really interesting. And then Jared will point out, Jared's from Time Honored Productions, so if you guys are local to the Kansas area, they do a lot of different cosplays. But you've seen their cosplay group doing anything from the whole group of Back to the Future to all of the Addams Family to. Mm-hmm. I mean, you name it, they'll do these great group cosplays and come in. And,
well, he does.
On top of that,
he does a great Keanu Reeves from Bill and Ted.
He does.
He does.
I remember one year.
So from the original TED Talk. Okay.
Yeah. Exactly.
One year I walked by him and I couldn't figure out what he was going as, and then he popped up that meme of Keanu Reeves where he just had like the frame and he put it around himself. And it's that one "What if I told you" meme. And it was, bam, perfect.
Oh, I know. He's great. He's great to chat with, and he brings. I don't know how big of his group is coming, but he's got some great authors in his group. They are a fun read. I'm telling you, they are great. Our Counting Crow cartoonist, Christian's supposed to be there. Christina Stovall, she's out near Topeka, I think. She's a Kansas author. She does some romance. A couple other local authors in the area are going to be there as well. I'm going to be there, of course.
I saw that.
Yeah, I'm going to be on there. I should have grabbed my list, but it's just we are starting to get a lot of people. I've got a couple vendors out of Oklahoma City. who are coming up, and they're going to have all kinds of items. I mean, it's just going to be fun. If you've never, I think one thing that's great, besides I was trying to create a family fun event for our campus, is that if you've never been to a show, these little 1 day shows are perfect because you can't get overwhelmed. I love some of those big shows that are 3 days, but you and I know, because we've been to a lot of them, you can't see everything. And if you've never been, those things can be overwhelming too fast.
Yeah. Actually, I wanted to touch on that real quick. I do want to say, since Jen has chimed in on chat, Jennifer Burge, she says, "Hello, my friends." She loves to read, and she's got a story about chicken we're going to have to ask her about later. So I didn't want to not acknowledge because she jumped in chatting right away.
Oh yes.
The size of the show. First off, like you're saying, sometimes you're wanting a huge show, like you'll go to Planet, and I know we've all talked about this where sometimes you're like, man, I could just live at a Ren Fair or a convention, and then other times, like by the end of that second day, I want more, and then you wake up that third day and you're like, why the hell do we do this for 3 days? And
because they have cookies.
Because they have cookies.
No, you kidding? That first day at Comic-Con, it was just, Planet Comic-Con, it was just so packed that I was just sitting there going, why didn't I bring my Xanax? There's too many damn humans around here. And I never got a chance to even get over to the section that I wanted to get over to. Well, because there was just so much to do and see.
Well, my problem with that is I don't get to shop then. I end up talking to people all damn day, and I don't get to go buy comics. But
yeah. I went to one to catch a celebrity that's a favorite of my daughter because she loves it when I get autographs of people she loves. And the door opened at 11. I was in the door at 11, and they'd already capped his line.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
There's been times I'm working a con. Planet Comic-Con's a great example where I was working the event, so I'm in there early. By the time I got over to Stan Saki, his commissions were full. Yeah. And that's before the doors are open.
What does it fill with VIP? Is that who gets
that one was it could. Well, I had heard. I won't say who it was, but my daughter loves Scooby Doo, so that might give you an indication.
I love Scooby.
But they had kept his line from the night before and gave all those people that were still in line tickets to be in line first. So it was almost full from Friday night.
That's
understandable, but still sucks.
Yeah, San Diego's been having a real problem with a lot of that. I know I'm getting a little off subject here, but so what you get a lot is like you'll get toy exclusives at a lot of the bigger cons or book exclusives or whatever. So what ends up happening if you're not in the con early as a vendor or something, some early VIPs get in, vendors of course get in, they start selling to each other. So a lot of times all the really good deals or a lot of the special things, by the time patrons get in and start waiting in line, half the time that stuff's gone before the line even starts, and they don't even know. But they got there an hour early so they can get in the con as soon as it opens and get in line. But then that He-Man exclusive's already sold out because half the other vendors are already in line. Yeah,
and we don't have anything like that. But ours is a small enough show that you don't face that overwhelmingness or feel like, oh, I didn't get to do what I wanted to do. You can go spend a couple hours with us. Meet some great artists and authors and shop the vendors. We're going to do the costume contest at the end of the show. We're hoping to have a couple panels, maybe an author panel, and I have one of the other guests who's coming. I got to double check with them. So you're going to get that micro con experience, and you can have a good time. And then you can be like, hey, I think I could handle going to a bigger 2-day show because Kansas has several great 2-day shows, and they're a lot of fun. And again, to travel 3 hours to one of them is no big deal.
Yeah, not for us. We'll do that to go to Walmart sometimes.
I did a book signing at a library in Kansas, and I can't think of the city, but I drove an hour, and there was I was like, where do these people go to Walmart? There was no Walmart. Even the town with the library didn't have a Walmart, and I'm like, what do you guys do?
It was in those towns that the last Kmarts and Alcos held on for forever.
Yeah, I can see that. Because I still have a place in Springfield, in Missouri, and I travel across the state quite a bit, and I've figured out all the good places to stop along the way. But and there's more than you think. But then there are other times where it's like, I hope I don't have a bathroom emergency because you don't have trees.
That is a problem. It's hard to go off into the tree line when the tree line is 3 fields away.
Yeah.
I could tell you stories of like where we're just either looking for bathrooms or place to get gas. Like I know we did a show in Pennsylvania where it's 3 a.m. and I think we're in Tennessee at the time driving, and there is nowhere to get gas. I mean, nowhere. We found like a little side town somewhere that took credit cards at 3 a.m. that wasn't even open, but we were able to buy and stuff like that where you're just screwed if you have a flat tire or.
Yeah.
Was that the one where I went to Pennsylvania?
Huh?
Was that
What?
the one where I went to Pennsylvania?
Yeah, you were with us where we went and did that biker rally and.
Yeah, the biker rally that was adults only, and there was things I don't want to remember.
No.
Yeah.
So the thing I want to touch on this being a one-day con, because some people I've talked to about, and I said it's a library con, and sometimes people hear library con because you go to some and it's like there's like 4 or 5 vendors, a couple local cosplayers, and that kind of thing. But this is a literal one-day con. I mean, it's going to have a costume or cosplay contest. You got cars up front. You got 40 vendors. Is that right?
I have 4. I believe our final count was 40, though a couple vendors, of course, have taken a few more spaces, which means they have more merchandise for you. But I think our last count was we have 40. I have the 501st out of Wichita, which so many people are excited about. The Star Wars group. Several other cosplayers, Badass Cosplay.
Yeah, I was going to say, I saw you had Badass, and Badass, is she running your cosplay for you, or is she?
I asked her to be one of the judges. I thought she would be one of the judges, and then we might try to find a local maybe even one of our local professors, because I think that's good to have a new somebody who doesn't know in the voting, because that makes it
Oh yeah,
I think that makes it fair. And then I've got 1 or 2 other people that are more experienced with cosplay as the 3 judges, and we've got some cash prizes for that. So I think it'll be
good.
Yeah. I mean, it's I bill it as a library con, because there's no entry fee whatsoever. It's free to the public. Please, come in. We don't have a media guest, but we have a lot of great local. As you said, some of these people are local celebrities.
A lot of first-year cons don't have those media guests, and that's a good way to start it out.
Yeah.
But having Badass there, I mean, that's who we use to run our cosplay for the Anime Fest.
Yeah.
I used her at PopCon, and she is one of the top people in this area to have come.
Oh yeah.
With you on that stuff.
She was real quick to jump on board, which made me feel really. Actually, everybody's been real quick to jump on board. Which is great. I mean, I think that's great that you see people wanting to help make something successful, like this, because we love these things, but we don't have enough, but we don't want to oversaturate it,
right.
But because I always see them for Orlando, Florida, and I'm like, how many people can go to these? I mean, they have like one a month down there.
Who was it that we were talking to who had gone to one in South Korea, and it was so packed and everything was so huge that they basically had turned it into an assembly line type. You got to move through, you got to hit this, you got to hit this, you got to be out the door, and because there's just so many people.
I was at a horror con very much like that. I mean, I've been to some big cons like that, and that's my worry with San Diego, because there's parts of San Diego that are like that, where it's you wait in line, you get to your spot, and it's just so crowded you can't. I mean, you got to know, have an itinerary just for where you're going within the con. Like, you got to have a plan through the day for sure to make sure you can even get in line to hit your panels, because you might be waiting in line before too long until you can get in the panel.
That could lose a lot of the appeal, when you're treated like a piece of beef.
Well, I was going to say, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, I've been to some of those big ones where they kind of shuffle people through, and it's like, I sell a lot of books at those shows, but I feel like I don't get that interaction with my, I don't want to say fans, but people who are interested in reading my book. Those people that will become fans, and it's kind of like you've got to push them along, or they're. And I've heard that about a couple different bigger shows where people don't sell much because people are going from one panel to the next, and I'm there to pick up new readers. Yes, I do want to make some money. We're not going to lie, but I'm there to get new readers because this is how people find out about me. Right. And I have people that, will come to a con to be like, do you have a new book out yet? They come to the show. They don't follow, they don't always check on social media, or maybe you don't see it on social media. But, I'll do a Kansas show and they're like, oh my God, I didn't know you had a new book out. And then it's just crazy for the rest of the afternoon. All those people come by, and that's such a great feeling, number one. But that just shows you that people go to these things and they follow those authors and they buy those things from those artists. And it's like a big family. You kind of call it your con family when you talk about these people. And so they're just so much fun. So again, I cannot stress that this is a great family fun event. And if you've never been, it's a great chance to go to one that's not going to overwhelm you.
Exactly. A small con like that would be just perfect. I remember the first Ren Fair I ever went to and how intimidating it was, how much I wanted to participate, but was intimidated by all the other people there who have been doing it. Yeah. And, SCA, that's all I'm going to say. But, it was very intimidating and hard to feel as though you were part of it. And a small con like that where you can actually stop and talk to people and interact with them, that would be the perfect first con for anybody. Well,
a good example is William, you and I met at smaller con, and that's pretty much when we talk. We talk at the smaller ones because it's easier, because there's more of that hands-on. And it's not against the big ones, just the big ones. Again, we're all busy, and they're great. They're just a different element, a different animal.
And they're great too on their own level, but you have to work your way up. I tell that to people. We'll be at a Kansas one, and people are like, "Oh, this is my first show," and I'm like, "Well, these are great, even though they're 2 days. These are great first shows because, again, I don't think they're so massive that you just don't know what to do."
Well, and as performers, I know a lot of times we like doing smaller events because, like we used to do, like big runs, like multiple weeks in Kansas City or St. Louis or whatever, and those are great. They're fun, and that's very much family-like. But after a while, it gets a little tedious, but more importantly, it's talking to those fans. So we go to some place where we're a bigger fish in a smaller pond, then we get to play with the fans and do a lot more. When we're at the big festivals, it's 5-6 shows a day. We barely get off stage to go talk to people, and if we do, we're exhausted, we're tired, and then you don't get that interaction as much too. So it's definitely a balance, and that's the thing I always suggest to other people is hit a couple big cons, hit small cons as well, because people that do that, like I only do big ones or I only do small ones, they're not getting that whole experience.
And I have been to every size, not only as a vendor, but sometimes I just go because there's somebody I want to meet. Yeah, and it's great. And it's always amazing. Sometimes I'll go to one and somebody will be like, William, and I'm like, and it's like somebody I met at a con on the other side of the country. It's like, wow. Yeah.
It still blows my mind that even after all the years that I have not been participating with the Scallywags, how many times John tells me, "Oh yeah, we were out, doing St. Louis, and people were asking about you," and I'm like, "Why?"
Well, it was usually Ash.
You're sexy, Daryl.
They just go like Ash.
And they want you to meet your child.
Hey, just because he has my hat doesn't mean he's me, all right? You can name him Daryl, doesn't mean he belongs to Daryl.
Well, okay, we'll go with that, brother.
Yeah. So, William, on both your books and your event, which, before I get to that, I want to ask why BusterCon? Is that something I'm missing for the Garden City area? Is Buster?
That is our mascot.
Is it? Okay.
Billy Buster is our Bronco rider is our mascot.
Awesome.
Oh, cool.
So I went with our mascot. I thought that was.
Normally, I would ask, where can you get tickets and all this stuff? But this is an event,
you don't need tickets. We do have vendor. We did make up attendee IDs just because we want to kind of count how many people come through. But also, I have every single one of those from every show I've ever been to.
I got boxes right over here full of them.
So I wanted at least the first, 600 people that come through the door, we have attendee badges, and I know for some people they love, I've been look at all the shows I've been to, so we have that. So no, we if you get to the campus, we're in the gym complex, and we're actually using the back gym, not the main gym. So you'll come in through the front doors. There'll be some food trucks there. There'll be the weather permitting, the car club will be outside. They do kind of need a sunny afternoon for that, and then we'll direct you down the hall around the big gym, and we're in the back gym back there. We've got several food trucks.
Oh, good.
Yep, and then we have, like I said, some of these great vendors and artists and authors, and the costume contest. I'm hoping that pulls in a lot of people because that's always fun to see the people, the way they dress up and what they do. I was explaining to some of the people on campus. I said I've seen some cool ones. I was in another state at one point, and this young man had done himself up as a spider turtle, and he had cool. He was Spider-Man, but he was also a Ninja Turtle. And those mashups, these things these people create are so amazing and so much fun. And some of them look so much better than when they're in the movie.
Rach Cathy that I used to run the Ren Fair with, him and I went and did the exhibit for Star Wars, where they had all the original, and we've made our own Star Wars stuff. And if you get up close to those original Star Wars costumes, and you've seen, of course, like the 501st and stuff.
Oh yeah,
501st blows the movie out of the water. Like literally the quality, night and day difference. Because the stuff people wearing at cons is better than what was in the movie, for sure.
Well, yeah.
I remember when Exploration Place, I was about to say Exploitation. Exploration Place had the Star Wars exhibit come through, and they. Yeah, it's some of the stuff that, finally you get up close and you look and you're like, ugh, Chewbacca was made out of what kind of hair? They looks like a shag carpet from the 70s. I can swear there's bubble gum in there.
Yeah, I've seen people and they'll tell you, they're like, well, in the movie they did this, but you can't wear that around all day at a show. So I had to do that. I mean, some of them have some great techniques. And some of that stuff, and then and it's always even great when parents bring their the children, even if it's a Halloween costume. It's just so much fun to dress up and go to these things. I'll get one family. They were all wearing DC shirts. There was like 5 or 6 of them. They were all wearing DC shirts, and it was great. Except they had one kid who was like wearing a Captain America shirt. And I had to ask if he was adopted. I was like, good for him for being his own person. But it's like everybody else was, that was a conversation in the car.
Well, it's like when you see the family picture of the nice little Christian family with the one emo kid.
Yeah.
You know that they're doing their own thing, but they're still loved.
They are, and it's fun. I don't think I'm going to do it for this show since I may have to run it around and do some administrative duties. But I'll do Uncle Fester and I'll shave my head and everything. And I was at a show when I was dressed up like that, and there was a little girl. She had to be 4, and oh my God, when she saw Uncle Fester, she was totally dressed up as Wednesday. And
rock on.
Yeah, she just lit up. That was the cool. And their parents were like, she needs a picture. And I was, before they finished saying picture, I was like, I need a picture with her.
I had forgot you did Fester. And when I come down for that show, I was going to bring my wife and my granddaughter with me. Yeah. And she was thinking she might want to do Miraculous Ladybug. But if you're doing Fester, because Wednesday Addams is her other.
I don't know that I will. I will see. It's like I said, I don't know if I'll have the time. I may have to run around and be.
Please tell me that you have the classic light bulb that lights up for your mouth.
I do have a classic light bulb.
See, that's perfect.
Yeah, I do.
I want to hit the chat real quick before I ask him a couple more questions. Mike Honecker asked if that was Tim. He couldn't see on his screen. So
hi, Mike.
And in the Scallywags asked, or said, hey, Cookie. So
hey.
I'm going to assume that's Mac on there. Rich Harrison asked if he could be a celebrity there. Yes, Rich, you can be a celebrity there. You can ride down with me. We can tell some jokes or something. Yeah. It'll be because Rich is actually from the Garden City area.
Awesome.
So he's one of the wags that when I put it out there, if we want to go up and do a show, he was on it right away. And then I realized the WAGs doing a library family friendly fest might not be the best. So we're going to be
you
there.
did a show. You did a show at a con, and you got done and got off the stage, and you were like, "We had to tone that down so much."
Oh. We had a show this year contact us that we've been doing for years in Iowa, and they said, "Hey, city bought the festival," and they said no more dirty stuff. So we want to hire you like for the weekends, but just clean stuff. And we're like, "Love you guys. We'll see you next year. We'll see how it goes."
Yeah, don't get. I don't have tenure. Do not get me fired.
No.
I just we're doing
They
a
have an
show here
amazing
in a little
ability
bit.
to tailor what they put out.
Yeah,
At
I know.
McConnell-
Oh, I know. I've seen them perform. They're great.
We're doing McConnell Air Force Base show, and just today, that's what the conversation was. Was the director of the show sent me this very well written deal that was like, okay, here's what adult means to us, and I know what it means to you. So let's focus on the us. It's like, okay, we got it. So
Yeah.
So the show, of course, if somebody wants information, heck, you can even just check the BusterCon flyer that we're putting on the WAGs page.
Right.
I'll have it on my page as well on Facebook. Of course, you guys.
We are through the college's website or through their Facebook page and their issue because it is a college. Everything has to go through them. So we are on their Facebook page. So you can find different guests on there. And I guess if you had a big question, I have an email, BusterCon at gccs.ks.edu.
All right, and I'll make sure to put up a link on the site. So if you guys do have questions, because I think even at this point,
Garden City Community College?
Yeah, 3 C's.
Okay, cool.
I know. I have to think about it when I'm typing it.
I definitely don't want to speak for you, William. I know we're only a few weeks from the show, but I know when we were talking about like the possibility of Ghostbusters and stuff, you said you might have a couple spots open if there were some entertainers or reenactors. Or
I would love for them to email me and check. I may have actually filled our last spot this morning. But as with any show, there could be a cancellation. So, I mean, I don't have a wait list yet, but I could. But depending on which group wanted to come or what they were bringing, I mean, I might have a little finagling room. We're still doing our final bit on the map. So I don't want to say no, but I would say I don't have many more than 2 or 3 spots left.
Okay.
Which, when I found that out this morning, I mean, I was like, wow, I mean, that is great. Yeah. That is great that so many people, again, and I got the same response from a lot of people that, they want more cons. I mean, there's just not cons in this area. So another con in this area was great. And so many people want to be supportive of that, which is wonderful because we don't see enough, I mean, there's 2 great ones in Wichita. We're a new one coming up in Hutchinson.
Just 2 in Wichita? Come on, man. Come on. I run one con, damn it.
I try to go to 2 of them in Wichita a lot. Yeah, there's more stuff in Wichita. I mean, especially artists and authors can go up. Yeah. Well, you got a Lego show coming up, or just did, or something.
Just had a Lego show, yeah. Yeah, it was. I believe it was the same weekend as the Renaissance Fair, so I wasn't able to make it. But.
Well, Springfield's got one, or in that area in Missouri, coming up this same week. I shouldn't probably say that. You can take that out in post, right?
You just took it out right there.
Well, 2 different things.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, there's. You guys have great events. I mean, you really do. And you're right. I mean, for those of us that travel a lot, it's like, I'm just going to drive the 3 hours to Wichita. What's the big deal?
Yeah.
And you're doing the thing.
You got good hotels.
Yeah.
That I love it when new cons come in and do. They talk to the other cons because so often, I've had this problem with all the events I've ran where people don't always talk and they just go like they willy-nilly just throw a date out or they willy-nilly just start doing stuff, and it causes problems for vendors, things like that. So when other cons like ICT and AirCap and stuff, we all chat with each other to try to make sure that everybody can work together. Because if you build the community, then there's more stuff for like all the cosplayers and vendors and everything to do. It just builds everything instead of just going like, oh, I only want to support this one. the more you support, the more we get. That's it.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. And this is there's already been several cons this year, depending on which part of the country you're in. But I mean, to me, this was the perfect time to like kick off the season.
Yeah.
You know, or the year, or whatever you want to call it. I don't know if there's ever a season anymore because I can pretty much find one every weekend if I want to travel, which is also great and positive. But yeah, I think we have to be a community and be supportive of each other. I mean, we want everybody to come and do stuff at our shows, but when people have a great time at a show, they're going to go to other shows.
Yep,
they will.
Yeah.
You know, when
well,
they have a positive experience.
And plus, you know, if you're like my wife and you don't find the She-Ra memorabilia at one show, she's going to go to another show to find that She-Ra memorabilia.
I know one of my vendors in his little blurb he sent me says he has He-Man stuff.
Oh, I've told
actually, right up here, I'm looking is the shelf of She-Ra, where she has her She-Ra stuff up in the craft room.
Yeah, well, and I'm sure Kelly will tune in and watch us. So Kelly, He-Man stuff. Kelly's like one of the biggest He-Man guys I've seen in my umpteen years of doing this. I want to check the chat here real quick. That was Mac that chimed in. Robin, yeah, you can wear Winky. It's a college, not a grade school. Hi, Kristen. And Rich says I'll have to share the link and see if I can get some of my Garden City friends who wouldn't normally go out there. Definitely do that. Because if nothing else, they might know people that want to go too, and they can share it. So, so William, if on the other side of the convention, before we get to the geeky stuff for news today, if somebody wanted to get some of your books or find out more about you, how would they do that?
I have a website, sandmenandzombies.com. Those are kind of my two villains, I guess, in my science fiction series. One of the major villains are the Sandmen. And then, of course, I write a zombie series and I write about serial killers. And that gives links to all the books. And you can find them on Amazon, Barnes & Noble. And then, of course, it shows I will have them.
All right. That sounds good. Well, we got about 20 minutes left of this episode. I think we're going to jump in, unless you got anything else about the show you want to throw in, William.
I think we've talked a lot. I want to do some geeky stuff. That's why we're here.
All right.
Not that talking about conventions isn't geeky.
No, you're good. I could sit and talk cons all day long, but then a lot of just the same regurgitated stuff's going to come out, And but I want to make sure to pimp your show because I that's one of the big things with this podcast when we were doing it. The idea was pimping local shows, of course, cosplayers. A lot of people that don't always get that kind of exposure because
and the recognition that they deserve as well.
Oh yeah.
What was that?
I said recognition they deserve as well.
Yeah. Heck, and like Kevin and those people, we've had a lot of those local people on here before, so it's always good to have that.
Yeah.
But let's hit some our week. Normally, what we do when we start off this show is Ash and I will say hi to each other and be courteous for a moment to fool everyone, and then we'll do a geekgasm of the week, which is just something light and easy that we thought was cool. Like they announced the new Warhammer expansion, or
hold on, I got my new geekgasm intro music. Hold on.
Geekgasm this time to celebrate. Let your geek black pride on Geekgasm's unite and make some noise. With every 9 feet we find our joy.
So,
all right.
So Ash has been taking classes and doing a lot of AI stuff. And this is one of the AI songs that you put in, right?
Yeah, that one I put in, and I really had to truncate it because the first one I put in, it was a great geekgasm. Well, okay, the 5th iteration of me going through and altering the prompts to get what I want was a really great one, but it was also 45 seconds long, and nobody wants to listen to that while waiting to do the geekgasms. I needed just something bumper-like, so I was able to turn this one down to this. And the other thing I loaded wasn't. Oh yeah, like I found one for tech news. Like a quick one. That's the bumper for tech news that I have right now.
So it's all AI generated. Last week when we had JCon, we at the end of it, Ash introduced a co-host for the show, which was a totally AI generated co-host. So we could literally ask him questions and he would respond in real time, and literally he could give input on questions we ask. We want to try it out a little bit though, because let's say I ask him a question on one of today's subjects, like Gina Carano's suing Disney.
Which I think she should.
Yeah, but
by the way,
but if this AI goes out on the internet to get that information, we're going to come back with a lot of very political stuff that we might not want to cover on the channel. So we're kind of learning the AI and toying around with it a little bit.
Right.
But so the Geekasm, I'll start off real simple. I took a couple notes so I did not forget for the Geekasms of this week. Hang on a second. So my Geekasm was simple. I got a lot of fun stuff that I'll get into, such as comic books, video games. But one of the things I got is beer. I like beer. I know it's not totally geeky, but I got me an expansion pack of beer this week. Buddy Frankie, who was on the podcast with us for 5 years, he got me a German beer set for my New Brew Thursday show, and I'll be hitting a lot of those up. And they're all from Germany, so it's going to be another one of those I did before, where I can't read the cans and it's like drinking a mystery beer. So that was kind of my Geekasm this week. Ash, did you have anything good?
Let me see. I have been, just really working on my classwork for what I've been trying to put together, and also let me see what was some of the other stuff that I've been doing. Oh yeah, my model that I've been working on, I am down to the point where I'm adding, where I'm just adding the decals, and then I'll finally be done with that model after I put the clear coat and the last of the decals on, and I can move on to the next one and keep working on my skills. And I'm trying to fire up the AI right now, but unfortunately I'm doing it on a Chromebook, and AI apparently runs slow on a Chromebook, but we'll find out if we can do it.
Well, and I know we're going through these pretty quick, but I'll ask the guys. Willem, do you have anything good geeky happen to you this week? New comic, movie?
Well, it wasn't good, but we lost Carl Weathers this week.
Yes.
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah.
But I got to meet him at a show, and is about 2 years ago. I would not mess with this man. He still could have ripped my arm off. And he asked me what I did, and I told him I was a writer, and he says, "Well, what are you working on?" And I told him about my detective novel, and I gave my pitch for the detective novel, and he said, "So do you have a copy of your book?" And I'm like, "Oh no, I didn't bring one," and because I wasn't doing the show, I just went to the show, and he scolded me. And he's like, "You don't come with a pitch like that without a copy of your book." And I was just like, Carl Weathers loved my pitch. I mean, that was like, you walked away with such a positive experience. I mean, he meant it. And I just thought, what a really cool guy. And I think that's incredibly positive. I mean, that was one of those experiences I'll carry with me forever, because it's like, I mean, he really meant it. It's like, he scolded me, but it's like, you can't come at us with a pitch like that without, the book to back it up. And I was just like, wow. I was just like,
that makes a good story. I got to meet him once too, and I met him only briefly. I didn't get to talk to him much, but he was super, super nice. And I love that when you can look at somebody, like I'll sit there and watch TV with my wife, and it's like, oh yeah, we got to hang out with that person and got to know that person, or that sometimes it's that person's an asshole, But
hey, leave me out of this, man.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's always sad to see that, and that I was going to bring that up with Mando news too, because I don't know what their plans for losing Carl Weathers in the Mando series is going to be.
I don't know, because I mean, he was still acting up until the end. Like I said, I mean, he still had a grip. I mean, for Apollo, I mean, him man was in shape, and it was just a great positive experience. And you meet some. I haven't had very few negative experience with celebrities I've met, which is wonderful. But some of them, it's just kind of, "Hi, how are you? Sign the autograph." There's 1,000 people in line. But even though he got a line, he's still engaged. You could tell he took the time to talk to the people that came up to speak with him, and that's just such a great feeling when people like that do that, because You don't always get that sometimes because they're moving. Like you said, that's assembly line because there's so many people that want to meet this person, and it was just such a great experience to meet him, and I will carry that forever. So I think that's very positive, even though he's not with us anymore.
Yeah. Now I love hearing those good experiences. I mean, you'll hear the bad ones sometimes. There's people out there like Lou Ferrigno's a great example where he had a bad reputation, but I've worked with that guy half a dozen times. Every time he has been nothing but awesome, and I'll watch him like go out of his way to help people and do stuff. So it makes me wonder sometimes how these bad reputations come about when you see people just being nice like that, like going out of their way to do stuff. Or I just don't know how.
Some of that stuff you got to kind of consider the source. Who's telling you that? Because sometimes that's the asshole, the one telling you.
Well, and sometimes they're just vague rumors that get around the internet, and then things just kind of explode and move up from there. But Cookie, do you have any good geekgasm this week? Anything?
Well, I didn't get shot going to the grocery store in the neighborhood. That's always positive. But no, not really. I mean, I hadn't heard about Carl Weathers yet. That's really sad because I really enjoyed the guy in the Mandoverse. I thought he really pulled his character off well. I didn't expect that from the beginning, but I thought he really pulled the character off really well.
I was worried they're going to try to go too Lando with him, but they did not.
No, they did. They
gave
really,
him his own character.
Yeah, and
all right, so let me hit a little bit of news. Easy news is today Captain Marvel comes out on Disney. So, of course, there is the mad rush of all the very stubborn geeks out there that refuse to go and watch it in the theaters or give Disney money for it. Now everybody's rushing to go watch it today. So I'm sure tomorrow on YouTube we're going to see 8 million Captain Marvel reviews pop up. I don't know if anybody here has watched the new Marvels movie yet.
Yeah.
Did you watch it?
Yeah.
What'd you think?
Awful feminine.
I feel bad because I was one of the guys that dug my heels in and said I'll wait for it to come out on streaming. So I have not watched it yet. It's not a political thing. It's more of a I just don't care for Brie Larson thing.
Right.
Well, I kind of agree. I don't know that I agree. Well, I haven't watched it yet either, though I plan to watch it. And Disney's still getting my money because I'm paying for streaming. But, Marvel is dipping into characters that I am not familiar with. And I'm not in that rush to go see them the way I was with Captain America and a lot of the others. I'd read some of the Iron Man comics. I never really read Doctor Strange, but that rush, big Spider-Man fan, of course, but I was never, so we're dipping into characters that I don't know. So I don't feel that drive to go watch the shows or the movies the way I did when I had to see, the Infinity Saga.
Yeah. Well, see, that's been the curse too. A lot of times when you do know the characters, then if they do them too far off the mark, then you sit there and go, oh, it's not like the comic. But then there's that other problem of like, oh, I don't know, Blue Beetle or whoever, so I'm just not going to watch that one too.
I was so excited to see Rocket Raccoon stuff till I saw, and I love the character Rocket Raccoon, but it was so far off from the comics.
Yes, very much so.
It was just, and every now and then you get a little cameo of something from the comics.
Well, it's going to be different from the comics. I mean, look at Aquaman. They made him a stud.
Hey, no. Aquaman's always been a stud, all right? Come on. I will Aquaman play.
I was leaning more towards, I'm very familiar with Logan, but I had never read the Old Man Logan stories, and I just...
Oh, they're so good.
But the movie was just... that's probably one of the best. That'll always be in my top 5 superhero movies. You're going to have to do a lot to top that one for me, that character development. Well,
and that Logan movie, it really is nothing like the Old Man Logan comic.
You need to read the Old Man Logan with the Maestro.
I will add that to my growing. I don't know. You may have saw them a while ago. My growing pile of books here that'll.
You said you're a Scooby-Doo fan. Have you seen the Scooby-Doo zombie series?
Oh, my daughter's the big Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
I've haven't seen that one.
It is so good.
Yeah.
They've got it on YouTube, so if you don't got time to read it, you can watch it like I did. But it's really, really, really good.
It is.
Yeah, I do enjoy a good Scooby Doo story, but that's my daughter's. That's her fandom. That's her
Yeah,
fandom. So.
I love me some Scooby Doo for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I just want to more mention the Captain Marvel thing. So if people do want to go out and watch it, it is now free streaming on Disney as of today. I don't know how much. I'm not going to have time to cover all this news, and some of it is Super Bowl related, and not even Super Bowl related, Taylor Swift related in a different way. But one thing I did want to hit for sure, and I know it's not comic book geek, but it is nostalgia geek for people, well, hell, our age, is this week, Groundhog Day. For the first time since 1993, the full cast got together for a reunion
Oh, that's cool.
in Chicago to announce Harold Ramis Day. And I am a big Ghostbuster fan. So now we have the first inaugural Harold Ramis Day in Chicago. Bill Murray, everybody showed up, said some really great things, not only about Harold, but about the movie itself. So if you guys have not seen that, it is worth just looking up on YouTube, watching the ceremony, checking things out. But I think it was a much deserved acknowledgement for an awesome person.
Yeah.
I got the AI to function. Here we go. He's saying hi.
Well, 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 if it ain't my favorite virtual ragtag crew and our esteemed guest, William. Welcome back to Concast, where the pixels are always pixelated and the jokes are, well, they're still pretty sharp. John, Daryl, good to see you two survive the week without getting lost in the digital void. And William, my friend, pleasure to have you aboard. Hope you're ready to dive headfirst into the geeky abyss with us. So, what's on the docket today? Any tantalizing tidbits from the world of geekdom itching to be dissected? Or are we just here to shoot the breeze and wax nostalgic about the good old days when floppy disks were still a thing? Either way, strap in, folks. We're about to embark on another adventure through the twisted corridors of nerd culture. And who knows? Maybe we'll even uncover a hidden gem or two along the way.
Well, and see, I need to start, putting into the prompt generation to, keep it down to like, a paragraph, maybe a paragraph and a half.
Well, first off, he's too well spoken to be talking with us. So,
Yeah.
that number.
Well, like I said, I went for the old, film noir feel to him when I was, generating the character, and we can move away from Humphrey Bogart and go more. I don't know who else. Bob Hope.
Bobcat Goldthwait.
No.
Yeah.
I love Bobcat. I couldn't do an hour of Bobcat.
It's just not right being intimidated by a non-human host. I mean, he spoke much better than we did. You have a point there.
Well, I also had him put together something on Wolverine, on Old Man Logan, and let me say he put together quite the 6 or 7 paragraphs, retelling of what he thought about it. And I don't think I'm going to subject everybody to that this close to the end.
So maybe instead of the drunk movie reviews we used to do, we should just have AI review movies that the AI hasn't even seen. See what?
Well, yeah, exactly. We could do that. But anyways, we're getting close to our hour mark.
I want to hit a couple more things for the history side of things. I know Amelia Earhart's plane may have been found this week.
No shit.
Oh, yeah.
87 years. It was a team that specifically was out looking for it, so it wasn't like an accidental find. They've got
I personally think the Japanese captured her as a spy after she crashed.
Really?
Yeah, seriously.
I have heard so many theories of her going to live on an island and stuff. And
No. And she actually was a spy. I don't know if anybody knows that, but she actually was doing spy work.
like legit, or is this like
Legitimately.
Elvis was a spy too?
Yeah.
Or?
She was relaying information
Yeah.
back to the
Really?
U.S. Yeah, I think that's pretty much been proven, which
Yeah.
is why it rose that theory that she was shot down because she was flying where she shouldn't have been.
Yep.
Well, shoot. So right now what they're doing is they're going to see if they can raise it. It is supposedly, even though they haven't been down there, they're saying with sonar, it is super well preserved. They're thinking it's all in one piece.
What, I haven't read the story. What's the depth on it? In order for any kind of preservation to occur, it would have to be pretty deep.
I could be, somebody correct me on this if I'm wrong. because I'm going strictly off of memory the other day. I want to say they said 2,000 feet. So
How many?
2,000 feet.
That's pretty.
Okay.
That's pretty
Okay.
deep.
That would be deep enough that you're starting to retard microbial activity, and if you don't have any, anything, generating some exothermic reaction in order to, to key things in, it would be really dead area. It's kind of like how they were able to find all of those 2,000-year-old ships plus in the.
What do you think? You're a marine biologist or something?
Yeah, no
Come
shit.
on.
I only pretended to be one for half a decade. Okay.
Yeah.
I
For
googled
those
it.
that
Real
don't know, Ash is genuinely a marine biologist. So.
I googled it real quick. It's deeper than the Titanic. It said. If
Oh,
that-
really?
Oh yeah, well, then definitely a lot of preservation there.
That was a quick Google. That I will not claim that that's accurate. That was just.
Yeah. Well, you read it on. It was on the internet, so it has to be true.
Well, yeah,
I
that's
didn't
what
get too much-
Lincoln says.
Oh, Kristen chimed in with 16,400 feet, actually.
Holy crap!
That's
Well, I'm
holy
glad
cow.
I read.
Yeah, the Titanic's only at 12. That real quick blurb I read said.
Yeah.
Oh, that's going to be a lot of work to even get down there. How did they find it?
Sonar and stuff, I guess. Well,
Wow.
they went off of.
They asked the Japanese where they shot at.
Yeah,
Oh, shit.
they tracked her cell phone, and
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
my God.
she had an old school Nokia. It was still working.
and here I missed the opportunity to give Gannon hell and say, Gannon, could you be a Jamie for us and go track that down? That would have been great.
But anyways, yeah, let's go ahead and start tying this up, gentlemen.
Okay. Two things, and both these I'll probably hit on next week. I am going to cover some of the Suicide Squad game next week a little bit, and I definitely want to talk about this lawsuit with Gina Carano suing Disney, which it probably isn't going to hurt to talk about that next week because there's more developing continuously on that.
Go, Gina.
All right.
Elon Musk, for those that know, put out a big thing recently on I think it was right before their Disney's developer meeting too, where Elon Musk had put out he's going to sue because Disney had pulled all their advertising from X, and he had a lawsuit against Disney, and anybody who had been wrongfully, basically, trying to think of the most political way to say it, but
Terminated.
wrongfully terminated, let's say, due to today's political climate, can get
You
on
mean like
board.
James Gunn?
A number of people did.
James Gunn is involved in that?
No, he's not.
No.
He did get fired by Disney a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And but of course they turned around and backpedaled a lot of that. And but definitely want to hit that. And with the James Gunn thing, that's another good one to bring up too, because James Gunn's made a lot more announcements with the DCEU going on. But we can hit that stuff next week because we are already running a little bit behind. So don't forget, guys, I left my calendar downstairs with all my upcoming events. But Buster-Con will be coming up at the end of the month. I believe it is the 24th. 24th, Garden City, Kansas. Also this weekend, for those that were planning the Gateway Pirate Festival, that is happening Friday and Saturday. What?
I'm sorry, you said Gateway, but I heard the Gateway Pirate
Don't
Festival.
let
You know what?
Don't let Jake hear it.
We don't judge. We don't judge.
So I will be at Gateway Pirate Festival this weekend with, Three Pints Gone, Pictus, all those guys. It will be the Musical Blades last show. I'm gonna either do some live streaming from there, or I'm going to record some interviews for later, because we're going to try to get some people like Bill Messino and things like that we don't normally get to talk to in Wisconsin. So we'll have some stuff like that later this month to put up for you guys. But having that said, don't forget, if you want any information, there will be a link on the Concast Facebook page for the Buster-Con. You guys are welcome to get a hold of William about any questions that you might have. Hell, if you have questions you want to send them our way, we'll try to answer the best of our ability. Other than that, is it next week is Valentine's Day. And Ash and I both continue to be married.
Yeah,
So,
I've been told by my wife that I'm not doing this next week while I'm doing Valentine's stuff.
So we're going to instead of putting up a pre-recorded episode, we're just going to skip next week. Give us a chance to toy with the new system here.
We have that option now. We can do pre-recorded.
I know, and I'll be recording a bunch this weekend, so we could put
Sweet.
one up, but we'll see. Hang on. Oh, Caitlin Eidelman just jumped on. Hi, Caitlin. Not heard anything on Buster-Con. Sounds nifty. We just did a whole half hour on Buster-Con.
Yeah, rewind.
It's coming up the 24th. It's going to be a lot of the local people here that you see in Wichita area will be there. Other people, they got a little car show going on at the same time that's associated with the con.
And they have cookies.
And they have, well, no, that's not that one.
And even though it's a library con, it's not a library where somebody's going to make you be quiet and stuff like that. This is like a fun kind of library.
Yep.
So, having that said, I believe that we're going to wind this episode down. William, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it, man. Cookie, thanks for jumping in.
Right on.
Going to get used to this stuff. All right, and I think that's it, guys. Hugs and kisses.
Bye,
And
girls.
we'll see you 2 weeks from now. Bye-bye.